Hey there, duelists. So today we're going to be talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, something that we don't often talk about on this channel, but I have been playing the game a lot recently, and I wanted to talk about it today because it just got its newest Forbidden Limited List update. It's going to be going into effect on March 1st. You can see the picture here. I follow Master Duel Guide on Twitter. He's a great source of Master Duel news and leaks. If you're interested in that, follow him. Follow me. Follow me on Twitter. TMAPS. Anyways, here are the cards that got hit. Amano Iwato to 1, Runic's Destruction, Slumber, and Freezing Curse all went to 2. Fusion Destiny to 2, and these three cards, Unix Ally Birdman, Thunder Dragon Roar, and Orchest Harpor, pretty cool, all went to 3. Now, we're going to be talking a little bit about this list and update specifically, but also I want to have a bigger question, or conversation rather, around Master Duel's approach to ban lists, especially compared to the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, and what you guys think about them. So, just for a bit of background here, the Runic deck came out in Master Duel pretty recently, and it's already become quite infamous. It's not a very popular one to face, for unfortunately fairly obvious reasons. The Runic deck is a bunch of quick play spells that disrupt your opponent, but that's not really the worst part. It's just that they mill your opponent's cards. They banish cards from the top of your opponent's deck. So it's a really annoying strategy, and of course the extra deck monsters are just very resilient. They can't really be destroyed easily, and the deck can tech in lots of floodgates and things like that to sort of just stop whatever you want to do. It can also combine, unfortunately, quite effectively with sprites, which also just came in Master Duel. And so together, this is just a not fun deck that a lot of people don't like playing against. One of the strongest cards in the deck, though, is actually the field spell Runic Fountain. So as you guys can see here, shoutouts to Master Duel Meta, it's a really convenient website. This lets you use Runic quick play spells from your hand during your opponent's turn, so you don't have to set them on your field. And also, when you activate a Runic quick play spell, you get to target up to 3 Runic quick play spells in your graveyard, put them on the bottom of your deck, and then draw the same number of cards. So this is a really huge engine of recursion that lets you get a lot of advantage from otherwise kind of just one-for-one or even worse style quick play spells. And this deck's just annoying. It's an annoying engine. It's an annoying deck. A lot of people don't like it. I'm not saying it's like the worst thing in the world, but that's just the common consensus. Now, you guys might notice that these cards all went to 2, but the big culprit that everybody doesn't like is Runic Fountain, and it did not get hit. You can actually see in the comments here, a lot of people are just saying, yeah, surely people would rather have Fountain to 1. Semi-limiting doesn't really do anything. A lot of people think that they should have hit, Fountain instead. And the thing about this list is that it is actually how a lot of Master Duel ban lists tend to go. Master Duel makes much more use of the semi-limited list than the TCG does. As you can see here in the TCG ban list, we literally have 3 semi-limited cards, and Lyrillus Recital Starling is probably gonna be at 3 in the next list. But Destiny Hero Malicious is the kind of infamous card at 2, and maybe like Pot of Desires at this point, and that could move around. But yeah, in Master Duel, we get a lot of cards to 2. In fact, if you look here, you can actually go through past Master Duel ban lists and see that they really do like putting stuff to 2. One of the more impactful ban lists was on October 28th, 2022, where they put several cards like Sword Soul, Longwan, Branded Opening, and Floowandereeze Magnificent Map all to 2. And then previously there were several cards that were at 2 from Virtual Worlds and Phantom Knights and Praying Kids that were meant to balance them before. So Master Duel makes a lot of use of this semi-limited list, and I kind of have mixed opinions on it. So semi-limited cards are something that I've generally been in favor of. I kind of like the idea of putting cards to 2 to kind of granularly change the matchup experience that a person might have when facing them. You can sort of slightly adjust the consistency of a deck by putting a card to 2. A card that was 3 that's now at 2 will be drawn less in opening hands, and if it's one of these cards that kind of loops like Destiny or Malicious, then it significantly can cut off, kind of an advantage engine in that process as well. But the thing is with this, I do feel like the Runic engine, in some cases, they only run 2 copies of some of these cards. But I feel like Master Duel maybe uses the semi-limited list a little too liberally, and I never thought I'd be saying that, but this doesn't seem like this is going to really change the experience of playing against Runics. Whereas hitting Runic Fountain, which I don't have it pulled up here anymore, but hitting Runic Fountain might have done that. And it also kind of coincides with the fact that Master Duel releases ban lists really, really often. Somebody actually was talking about this. Distant Coder tweeted, this is an odd one. I appreciate them hitting Runic, but I'm the only one who gets a this will do little to nothing vibe every time they release a ban list. And a really good kind of relevant comment in response was, every ban list release seems like a database scrub. Runic's had X percentage of wins. If we change these 2 cards to 2, Runic will see Y% less wins than before. It ignores the subjective experience of playing the game compared to the tens of thousands of duels that their metrics come from. So let me break this down a little bit because I think that's actually a really good point. Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel is a digital game. And that means that Konami has full information on like every single match that ever gets played in Master Duel, like on ranked or whatever. So they know exactly what cards are showing up the most, exactly what decks are winning, exactly when cards are being played, what percentage of people are choosing to run a certain card in their deck, and they have this extremely deep statistical information. So I think that they use this to inform their ban list decisions, but it can be a little weird, right? So, like I said, moving these cards to 2 doesn't really change the day-to-day experience of facing the Runic deck, but Konami does know that if they shift these cards to 2, it will decrease the consistency of the deck by just enough of a percentage that Konami is happy, and it kind of maybe keeps the general level of balance and deck representation that only they're seeing on the back end, um, like more in line. And I get why this is important, right? It's a digital game, and so just keeping representation exactly even or exactly within their, preferred parameters is really important for them. It's just like, I don't know. I actually think that I kind of like the TCG's approach to ban lists, where the ban lists come less frequently, but they do impact the game a little more. Sometimes these hits just feel like they're. I almost sometimes like forget that these cards are in the game, or like the hits don't really seem like they mean anything. They move things back. It's like I don't know. I find myself mixed. I responded here saying that like yeah, I don't entirely hate the granular approach, but I do think more tangible changes would be better, even if they happen a lot less frequently. And frequently is another thing I wanted to talk about too. Master Duel gets ban lists a lot. If you check here, these are all the dates that Master Duel's gotten ban lists, just in general. So February 28th, February 13th, February 6th, January 10th, November 30th, October 28th, September 30th, August 31st. This game gets ban list updates quite a lot. I mean, sometimes within weeks of each other. And it's an odd feeling because I think that, you know, as TCG players, I feel like we oftentimes kind of like the idea that the ban list needs to change, right? There's always a new card that everybody is like saying, okay, this needs to get hit. They need to like ban this. Konami needs to hit this. Konami needs to hit that. And like even right now, if you're looking at the actual TCG, there are people who say, okay, maybe they should hit like Diablosis to nerf Kashtira. Maybe they should hit Finra to 1. They should have done this. Should have done that. They need to do it sooner. We have to deal with this whole long format of these broken, obnoxious cards we don't want to deal with. But on the other hand, I think that when you release ban lists this often, it can actually feel a little bit like Whiplash, where it's like before you know it, poof, there's another ban list. It's like, wow, a deck just came out. You just got used to maybe a metagame, and now it's changing within just a couple of weeks. It feels weird too because it further separates Master Duel from the TCG. I'm not saying that's like a good or a bad thing, but I do feel like there was a time where Master Duel felt similar to the TCG, just behind in the card pool. But now it feels like its ban lists are just so all over the place that it can actually make it a little bit difficult to sometimes like play a deck on Master Duel versus playing it in the TCG. At one point, it was like, oh, okay, I can play like Rika in Master Duel, or what is it? I play Labyrinth and Master Duel, and I have to wait for some of the new cards to come out, or Exo Sisters. Those are some of the decks that I like to use. But now it's not just a matter of them not having their cards; it's a matter of like the metagame itself that I'm facing is so much different. There's so many little small, minute changes from deck to deck and strategy to strategy, and like I know the big ones like Maxi and Crossout Designator and like Call by the Grave and that just whole like circle of interactions. But really, there's just I don't know. So basically, that's what I want to ask you guys. How do you feel about Master Duel's very frequent ban lists and the way that they kind of use the semi-limited list almost more than anything? Things do go to 1 and things do get banned, but it seems like they are willing to semi-limit cards a lot more. I think that there are some plus sides and there are some downsides. I like the semi-limited list as a balancing tool sometimes, but I think that you still need to be aware of how players are actually going to like what's the average player going to feel? Are they going to feel the difference in these cards getting hit? So yeah, let me know down in the comments how you guys feel about it. And also, I've been thinking that I might finally play a little bit of Master Duel on this channel, maybe some content, might stream it on the main channel. Don't know exactly how I'm going to do it, but we'll see. Okay, anyways, oh, shout outs to you guys for helping to get to 80,000 subscribers, by the way, on this channel. Really cool. Hopefully we can get to 100K. All right, it's going to be it. I'll see you guys the next time on APS Amplifier. Pass turn.